Okay, let's get started. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, monsieur, dame. Welcome to Ingredients for You's March webinar. Today, we'll be focusing on the plant-based ingredients products. Today, our agenda would be, first, we'll talk about Vita Protein with my colleague, another marketer of Ingredients for You, William Lee. And the second one is a new development of vegan protein by Donald Tan, our CEO. And then the third one will go back to William to talk about the recent trend of vegan proteins. So thank you, William, for being here with us today. First, I wonder, have you tried any alternative protein products yourself? For example, the vegan meat, high protein bars or snacks, etc.
Yes, I have, considering I used to go to the gym to build my body for like almost 3 years, and I lost the count of how many cans of a protein powder I took. So I think I have a say in this one. It requires all kinds of protein, including animal protein and vegan protein, to build muscle mass faster. I'm especially familiar with some vegan meat or plant-based proteins such as rice protein, pea protein, soy protein, chickpea protein, and so on. I'm also an outdoor enthusiast, and often these outdoor activities consume huge amounts of body energy, so these bars are my go-to stuff. On the one hand, these bars are a quick solution to hunger. On the other hand, they provide a powerful source of energy for the body in an instant.
Okay, so how did you like those products and how different are they from the normal food you usually eat, like the natural ingredients?
Generally speaking, I think these products have relatively higher proteins and are more efficient for protein supplementation. Research has shown that those plant-based protein products have lower calories, which is a great choice for dieting, cholesterol or allergen-free, easier to digest, and last but not least, has less health concerns compared to animal source proteins. Besides, consuming plant-based protein is more sustainable, environmental friendly, as well as vegan friendly.
Right, indeed. Like the red meat we were talking about usually, right? So theoretically, plant-based proteins do benefit our health in many ways. I'm not going to bore you with that, but William, I don't mean to sound like a nitpicker here. Those alternative plant-based meat products are actually not really having a really great reputation in the market right now or in recent years. What's your opinion about that?
That's an excellent question. I will take from here and give you some of my insights on the plant-based protein products, as well as our Vita protein blend. First, let's take a look at the sodium content in alternative protein products and their natural counterparts. As illustrated here, the values of sodium daily value percentage of the same portion and size of alternative protein and its natural counterparts vary. As a matter of fact, generally speaking, many alternative protein products, especially meat substitutes, are less than natural counterparts, considering they are high in salt while low in some key nutrients, which have been the main reasons the alternative protein products have been having a relatively bad reputation. Unnecessarily high sodium content aside, next page. Unnecessarily high sodium content aside, what if we focus more on the alternative protein snacks that involve neither ultra processed nor high content of salt, but still contain those rather complete proteins human body needs? Take a look at the total protein content of our proprietary blend of plant-based proteins, which has like 75% of total protein content, sourced from rice, peas, and pumpkin seeds respectively. In this case, it allows the whole protein powder to be relatively more complete in the essential amino acids, contain a wider range of vitamins, minerals, dairy fibers, and still remain vegan friendly. Next page. Talking about which, there are two types of blends from Vita Protein I'd like to introduce to you today, which are Protein Blend B and Protein Blend E. Later, we'll dive deep into their functionalities and advantages in different applications into food. Next page. As we could see here, our Vita Protein B has a rather complete set of basic amino acids, and the content values of almost all the amino acids tested are relatively higher or much higher than the world standard values. Next page. One thing about our Vita protein B in the 3 control groups during our lab experiments, it is not difficult to tell that the gel from soy and pea protein generates unpleasant foaming, while our Vita protein B has a smooth and anti-foaming texture, leading to the fact that the puddings, next page, the puddings made of Vita protein B have a minimum gritty texture. Meanwhile, due to the Vita protein B consists of like 3 different plant sources for proteins, the final products do not have a beany taste compared to most of the plant-based protein products in the market. The 2 flavors of our puddings also won our taste testers' hearts. The average hedonic scores of both flavors are relatively higher than expected. Next page. On the other hand, Vita protein E wins on the aspect of water dispersibility. Here, the subjective 1 is Vita protein E, 2 is Vita protein B, while 3, 4, 5 are pumpkin seeds, rice, and pea proteins respectively. It is pretty obvious that compared to all the other protein powders, Vita protein E dissolves very easily and evenly in the water. Besides of that, it also takes much more time for Vita protein E to settle in the water. Compared to other types of protein powders, this feature of the protein E avoids final products in completely dissolving in the water, providing you a better choice of ingredients for high protein products such as milkshake, meal replacement shake, etc. Next page. Now let's compare the sensory hedonic evaluation of different types of protein powders here. For the smoothness and beany taste, Vita protein B and E showed better results, exceeding other natural protein powders. For the grittiness, Vita protein B and E are equally great as pea and rice proteins. Next page. In general, both Vita protein B and E both have 75% of protein content. Compared to Vita protein B, Vita protein E has 2 more ingredients in the compositions, which are lecithin and xanthan gum. Vita protein B is usually recommended to be used in alternative protein snacks, while E to be used in sports nutrition products.
Okay. Okay. So that's it. Great. Okay. Give me 1 second. Thank you again, William, for sharing with us. So next, let's welcome Donald to share his insights of the new development of vegan protein ingredients. During this presentation, Donald will be sharing with us the following content. First, the current global plant-based protein market size and segment analysis. And second, what new plant-based protein ingredients are in our industry. Third, what's unique about these new ingredients that we were talking about. And the fourth one, the last one, the next trend wave of the plant-based proteins. Donald, are you with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Could you turn on your camera, please?
Yes, I'm doing that. Hold on. Okay, you see me, right?
Um, no, we can't
Also.
see. Okay, we can see you now.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So give me a second. I'll just share with everybody the PowerPoint slides.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So, I'm gonna start right now. Okay. So, we can see the screens that, first of all, I want to give a total overview for the global vegan protein market size. Yeah, go to the next slide. And the total protein market value in the year 2021 was more or less like $35 billion. And among that, plant protein is around 30%. So, which means it is totally like $10 billion market size. And considering most vegan protein manufacturers are located in China, and so we know them very well, so we think this number is very close to the truth. And the growth rate of the total revenue is approximately 10% every year. And we know that in last 2 years, it has reached over 30% due to the very quick growth of vegan meat industry. And food and beverage is still the biggest market in the plant protein family. And North America is still the biggest market in the world. At the same time, we also see very quick growth in UK, in Eastern Europe, and China. So these are the biggest markets of sports nutrition as well. So meanwhile, we also see that millennials and those people started to become the biggest consumption group of the vegan proteins. Yeah. Yes. I think this slide is showing about the new vegan protein in our industry because we know there are a lot of new vegan protein industry in our industry in last 5 years. So because we are thinking about why there are so many new ingredients in the market because we already have a lot of vegan protein. And based on our understanding, we think it is because the market needs those new ingredients. The reason has several reasons because first of all, each vegan protein ingredient has a very different amino acid profile and we have different types of consumers, even though most of the vegan protein consumers are millennials. Well, taking an example is, for example, a person who taking plant protein for muscle recovery will have a very high demand on glutamine. And for energy purpose, and people will require higher content of arginine. And for meal replacement purpose, people will require more balanced amino acid profile and plus some other vitamins. So a single plant protein, we think it is no longer enough to meet with customers' daily nutrition needs. And the market will need more types of vegan proteins to combine them with each other. And the same situation also happens on different application scenario. We know vegan meat is growing very quickly. Meanwhile, our rice protein manufacturer is also developing a specific grade of baby food application. And like other products like beverage or yogurt or traditional nutrition bar, they will also need a very different performance of plant protein like pH value or the texture of protein, like the water content of protein, the water dispersibility of the protein. So each vegan protein ingredient, it has very different feature and characteristics. So we think the market will need this new vegan protein for different application scenario. And we think last of all, safety is also a very important factor because animal source protein may not be so sustainable compared with vegan protein. And ingredients for you, we started our development of vegan protein around 10 or more years ago, as we always believe plant source protein is more natural, more safe, and sustainable for people. For example, like people with lactose intolerance could take vegan protein product, and vegetarian could also take a vegan protein product. So we always recommend more on pea protein and rice protein rather than soy because rice protein and pea protein, they don't have any kind of GMO concern. So many new types of plant protein like fava bean protein or chickpea protein, they also have very less concern of pesticide and heavy metals. So these, we think there are the reasons of why there are so many new vegan protein emerge in the market. Yeah, Madeline. And the next slide. And yeah, this is an example to show what is the uniqueness of this vegan protein. For example, like fava bean protein as an example, this is a summary from one of our colleagues to show what is unique from fava bean protein. And compared with rice protein and pea protein, they all have 80% protein or 85% protein AC. But the fava bean protein, it has very high fiber and also it has higher vitamin B6 and also high level of magnesium. And the fava bean protein, it also has a higher percentage of protein. So these are the very unique part of the fava bean protein. So also it has very mild flavor compared with rice protein and pea protein. So a lot of people and companies, they would like to use fava bean protein more in their finished product. Yeah, Madeline, next slide. And this is about pea protein. Pea protein, because we know it is a very well-known vegan protein ingredient and a very sophisticated product, but we also see there are many new grades and specifications of pea protein in recent years, like the textured pea protein, and also they have specific grade if they want to use pea protein in the protein shake product. Also, they have pea protein with higher casein but low sodium. This is also a unique grade of pea protein. So we think even in the traditional pea protein, there has a lot of new specification and new grades in order to meet with different customers' demands. Yeah, next page, please. Okay. And last of all, I would like to share about our understanding on the next trend in the vegan protein industry. We think an obvious trend that we can see is a combination of different sources, like animal protein plus vegan protein, like the combination of different vegan source protein and vegan protein plus some other supplement. The reason actually it is same that because the market needs to meet with different people's demand. Like for example, people will take protein as a supplement after fitness activity. He or she must have very different amino acid requirement compared to those who take protein for meal replacement. And another very important trend is the companies, they are taking more care of consumer experience with the development of technology, and we think many traditional plant protein ingredients already have a solution of better water solubility like rice protein. And the nutrition bar nowadays also require very specific items like particle size or pH value or water content because these will influence the flavor or the texture of the bar. Compared with traditional rice protein and pea protein, many new plant protein like pumpkin seed or chicken pea protein, they also have more mild and neutral taste. So it is easier for R&D people to apply them in a different finished product. Last of all, we see many other relevant industry are also researching plant protein in their product, like infant nutrition industry, which has a much higher requirement on safety. And also in medical food, we see a lot of companies there uh, making some research on how to use rice protein. And the vegan meat, we all know it is very quickly grows these years. And also pet nutrition is another very quickest market for vegan protein industry. So finally, we trust vegan protein is a very sustainable and natural category. We trust we have very whole solution from ingredients to solution product like what William introduced about Vita protein. And we also look forward to talking with our customers so that you can see what we can help. So yeah, Madam, this is my sharing about vegan protein.
Thank you, Donald. Okay, for sharing with us. So, on another word, COVID-19 has been going on for about, what, 2 years? Like, there is no end. I noticed that people's life in many countries has gone back to normal step by step. Recently, in late March, the virus has come back to a lot of cities in China, actually. Especially from tomorrow, the west half of Shanghai city will be on a new round of lockdown for 4 days after the east of the city is back to normal. Interestingly, the items people hoard the most before the lockdown are mostly vegetables, which shows that how people have come to realize that how important a role the immunity plays in human bodies. So next, let's get back to William. Let's reconnect with William and hear out about his research and views about the plant-based protein market of 2022. William, are you with us? Okay, let me just share.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Hi.
Okay, cool. Let me just share the slides
PPT.
with everybody. Yes. Here we are. Anytime you're ready.
Yes, I'm actually ready right now.
Okay.
Yes, we can start. Okay. So, hello everyone. William here again. Thank you for still being with us as I'm going to talk about the vegan protein market report for March 2022. So without further ado, let's get started. Next slide. Since the arrival of COVID in our everyday life, our daily routines have been a seismic shift, and China's borders still remain closed as policymakers continue to pursue the zero tolerance approach, even as many parts of the world turn to living with the virus. And here in Shanghai, right at the moment, as Madeline just talked about, the city of 25 million people under lockdown for like West Shanghai 4 days and East Shanghai 8 days. So 4 days. So it's like in total 8 days. So we are all like barred from leaving our homes. Before the lockdown, here are what happened in the city. Next slide. Starting from like 5 p.m. 28th March 2022, a complete lockdown imposed on Shanghai Pudong area, and at the night of 27th, people were like hoarding life essentials from the local market. A lot of people posted what they had gone through that night. Someone posted, and I quote, after the exertions of long queuing and fighting in the market, finally a few days of peace at home. Sigh. Another one posted a clip of his lovely pet, a cute husky who got no idea of what's going to happen to itself. I quote, Tithan is the last hope of this family. When all the daily necessities are gone, we'll count on it on the last day. Well, that's just a joke, and we Chinese don't eat dogs, haha. And relax, our report today has nothing to do with meat eating, actually right in the opposite. Next slide. As a matter of fact, one of the only consistencies between 2019 and 2022 is the rise of veganism. With plant-based diets seeing a continued rise in popularity, a survey carried out by Find.com found that over 40% of the UK population are currently vegan, a statistic that is expected to like double over the coming month. Next slide. In addition, 8.8 million of Brits are planning to go meat-free in 2022. Generation Z are currently the most meat-free generation, 30% of which are planning to go meat-free in 2022, and 20% of which are currently following a meat-free diet from the bar chart. In short, people are more focused than ever on what they are eating, from which it can be seen that vegan protein has very broad market prospects, at least in the next few years. Vegetarians also have very strong demand on vegan source protein. According to Natural Marketing Institute, today in the US, 35% of supplement users say that a vegetarian source is very important when choosing a supplement, up from 26% in 2006. Also, according to Health Focus International, vegetarian-aware consumers tend to buy 3 times more supplements than other shoppers, and their purchasing patterns demonstrate brand loyalty. Next slide. Last of all, with more research this year on vegan protein, production technology has been more mature and cost performance now is even better than animal source protein. Therefore, we trust that vegan protein will be the next trend compared with traditional animal source. And here is a market report of the latest update of vegan protein in March 2022. Next slide. The most pertinent point is regarding the pea protein. According to Statistics Canada, the production of yellow pea was like 210,000, which was 42% lower compared to 2021, with the most drastic reduction of all kinds of beans. And the purchase price of yellow peas in Canada in March was $650 per ton, which is the lowest compared to green pea at $670 per ton. Maple beans at $810 per ton, brown flaxseed at $1,230 per ton, and canary seed at $1,200 per ton as shown in the figure. The production of green pea is 33,000 tons with a 58% reduction than last year. In addition, the production of flaxseed and canary seed were 41,510 and 11,510 respectively, a decrease of 33% and 34% respectively compared to last year. Next slide. According to the current farm prices, yellow peas rise slowly, green peas continue to rise moderately, and the maple beans rise rapidly. On the contrary, flaxseed exports are expected to fall to 340,000 tons. It was the lowest level ever since 1970s. Due to cost concerns, each manufacturer has successfully raised the price to 80%, as some manufacturers have run out of cheap raw materials. Even after April, the quotation of various manufacturers is still very high. Ingredients for You expects that the current price level of the pea protein would maintain until at least the end of this year. Next slide. Another interesting point to consider is customers are increasingly accepting fava bean protein. In the last 2 years, most fava bean proteins were still in the research and development stage, and now mature products have begun to be available in the market. The demand for fava bean protein has been on the rise. Next slide. What makes fava bean protein unique is, in terms of the protein content, fava bean is the highest of more than 90% protein, with which most of the pea protein cannot compete currently. The ratio of amino acids in fava bean protein is better than that of a pea protein. It can help restore much more amino acids in muscle after workout than pea protein, and contains the highest branched chain amino acids that helps energy metabolism, just like what Donald just mentioned. The arginine content is also much higher than that in pea protein. The taste and texture of a fava bean protein are milder and tend to be neutral, which is more beneficial to the end products and is conducive to the application of clean labels and makes the ingredient list of end products simpler. Next slide. Besides that, at present, the price of rice in March remained at 3,000 rand per ton, a year-on-year increase of 20% in 2021, according to Heilongjiang Province Rice Market Price Trend Chart. We don't expect that there will be a big fluctuation on rice protein price in the next 9 months. However, there have been more research on how to make the rice protein applicable in wider industry, including yogurt or baby food products. Vegan meat's increase in demand has also driven the growth of rice protein market. Therefore, we expect the rice protein market will maintain stably growing too. Next slide.
英国人，因为你是不是印度留学的？我怀疑。
Sorry, Vincent, could you mute yourself, please? We're in the middle of the presentation.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Hello. Sorry. Can I continue?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so if we analyze another problem beyond the aforementioned, according to the market information from Ingredients for You, we find the plant protein market was valued at like $9,690.45 million in 2020, and is projected to reach a compound annual growth rate of 7.31% during the forecast period from 2021 to 2026. Despite some viral pictures of nearly empty shelves with only alternative meat products on them, plant-based foods, including plant-based meats, have been showing strong growth during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is likely to elevate the market space for plant protein in the food manufacturing industry. Based on 10 years experience in plant protein industry, we trust the blooming demand of a vegan meat application is also an important factor that leads to a large increase of a vegan protein demand globally. During last 12 months, at least 2 protein manufacturers emerged in the market, with traditional pea protein manufacturers are following more research on different application scenario of a pea protein, for example, patties, fish, sausages, etc. Such new application has also stimulated the manufacturers to devote more to research and development, as well as pushing the whole plant protein industry to a new era. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, William, for your hard work on the research and your analysis on the market. So next, Oh, there is no next. Okay, that's it for today's webinar. Stay tuned for our next month's webinar, which will focus on the weight management and consumers analysis. Thank you guys for watching and listening today. We will see you next month. Bye. Au revoir.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you very
Bye.
much. Bye.